Honestly, I hated my old elementary school. If I had to walk back through that chipped green iron gate, I'd probably still keep my head down, trying to swallow the sting of disinfectant, the damp smell of plaster, and a heaviness in my throat that never quite went away. Back then, out of all my friends, I was the kid in the baggy, faded uniform, always a little wrinkled, like it had just been rescued from a pile of wet rags. My lunchbox held nothing special, just cold white rice and a fried egg. My mom would tell me, just eat as long as you're full. And every morning, I made up stories about fancy sandwiches and bento boxes, like on TV. Just so when someone asked, "You're eating that again?" I'd have an excuse, something to soften the laughter. Truth is, I wasn't afraid of being hungry. I was afraid of being seen. Afraid of those glances that made my cheeks burn. The little shrugs, the giggles, the whispers, "She's really poor." So, I lied, over and over. I'd tuck away my meager coins like I was hiding some secret fortune. I made up tales about new clothes my mom would buy, about pretty shoes I'd get if I behave, about my dad working at a big company, not driving people all night on his motorbike, and about vacations that only existed in old magazines my mom brought home. I became that kid, never quite believable, a little bit of a storyteller in my own childhood. They say kids don't know shame, that lying is just something we do to survive. But even then, each lie sat cold in my mouth. Each one chipped away at me, leaving small, aching pieces behind. Still, I kept going. I had to hide it, hide the gray envy, the feeling of always standing on the outside. The countless times I dried my tears before the school gate, hoping no one would notice. Every forced smile was one more mask, just trying to protect a kid shrinking inside, like a worm exposed after a heavy rain. I feared people's eyes more than I ever feared being hungry. Years have passed, and I'm still playing that same game. Even now, whenever someone asks, "Are you okay?" I pick the safest answer. I wrap my hurt up in fake strength, and sometimes it hits me. I'm terrified of touching those old wounds, like just brushing against them would make them bleed again. But I am still here, still breathing, even on days so empty it hurts. I've learned to stare into the mirror, to call out the small shames that once threatened to crush me. And somehow, because of all those childish white lies, I have enough courage to make it to today. Because at the very least, I kept hiding. I never fully gave in. I never gave up my tiny bit of freedom, the dream that someday I'd finally answer, "Yeah, I was scared of being laughed at. But that's enough now." Today, I can give that kid inside me a deep breath, finally. There's no miracle at the end of this. Just a space for anyone who knows that sometimes, whether we lie to others or ourselves, it's just a way to survive. And maybe underneath those old wounds, a softer skin grows in, little by little. So if you're still carrying stories you've never dared to tell, maybe pick up a pen. No need to share it. Just know you were never really alone in that place. And who knows, someday you might be brave enough to let that child inside you stand tall, if only for a moment, through the crack of an old memory's door.